my beautiful friends. Welcome. I'm so excited to be doing another pick a card with you. And if this is the first time you're joining me, I'm so thrilled that you're here. My name is Odessa. I'm the Mystic Intuitive Healer, and I deliver messages through the cards that help you to awaken, heal, align, and grow. So in today's pick a card, I am revealing powerful compliments that people are saying behind your back. The aim of this reading is to reveal things to you that people are thinking, they're saying, but they're likely not revealing to you. You might not hear these compliments very often. I mean, like once every couple of years or possibly never. There might be some things that come forward that you don't even think are associated with you. You couldn't even imagine that people are thinking this about you. So I'm hoping that you're going to be delighted and surprised by what people are thinking. And then at the end of the reading, I am going to give you some advice on how you can tap into this energy so you can start to hear these things from people, or at least have some signs that that's what they're thinking. So you have 3 piles to select from. Pile number 1 has the jar of rose quartz chips and the pink candle with the twine knot. Pile number 2 has the amethyst chip jar and the purple candle that has a twine bow. And pile number 3 has clear quartz chips in a jar and the white candle with a twine bow. So I'm going to give you a second to meditate, select your pile, and I'll see you at your reading. Hello, pile number 1. Welcome to your reading and welcome to all of the new viewers out there. My name is Odessa, and in today's reading, I'm revealing powerful compliments that people are saying behind your back. So as I mentioned in the intro, some of these compliments might be things that you hear very rarely or things that you've never heard before at all. So keep that in mind. Some of the things that come forward you might not be expecting. They might not be things that you associate with yourself, but that doesn't mean that the message isn't for you. When I'm channeling, I'm hoping to get a wide range of compliments that are coming from different people in your life, and I'm not focusing on one particular energy. So if you are wondering what a particular person in your life is thinking of you, you might want to book a session with me so I can do a detailed reading for you, and you can book a session through my website, odessamall.com. So you selected the rose quartz chips in the glass jar, as well as the pink candle with the twine knot. So these are the starting messages. Rose quartz is connected to the heart chakra, so the energy of unconditional love. Pink can be associated with feminine energy, but it feels like youthful feminine energy. And clear quartz is clear, as well as rose quartz, is known as a healing crystal as well as an amplification stone. So when it is used alongside another crystal, it amplifies the properties of both crystals. And because rose quartz is connected to the energy of love, you are inspiring that kind of loving energy within people when you are around them. They feel like you care for them. They feel like you are compassionate, but you also are really inspiring because the sense that I get is that you remind them to love themselves, to remember to put themselves first at times, that it doesn't always have to be about other people. The sense that I get is that you might have grown into your sense of self-love. This might have been something that you really had to work on. There's this feeling of having to remind yourself, like every day having to say positive affirmations to yourself, or to do lesson work is what I want to say. So maybe you were going to see a counselor or a therapist, or you were working with a coach, or you were going to school to like upgrade skills, or you're writing in a journal, there's this sense of repetition. And whatever this action was, you were constantly focusing on loving and accepting self. And once you master that energy, it is an overflowing cup. That's definitely something that would rub off on other people. When you know how to love yourself, then you're not asking for other people to fill your needs. And whatever extra energy you have left over, you can freely give to others. There's a sense of you inspiring other people to do that, to show up for themselves, to reveal their sense of love. You might have become more affectionate over time. That emotions, there's a sense for some of you that emotions in the past might have been tricky. And I heard the word icky. Like at times you might have felt very vulnerable, revealing that you cared or loved somebody. And you've really realized that there's nothing to feel vulnerable about. Like no one can take advantage of you just because you have an open heart. You can love freely and have healthy boundaries at the same time. It doesn't have to be like an all access pass to your life. Okay, beautiful. So let's put these aside. Hopefully some of that resonates for you to begin with, but people are really noticing the work that you've done. Now let's see what cards you got. The Three of Pentacles. I'm going to go through each card one at a time, I think. So the Three of Pentacles, you know how to work within a team. So if you work with people in your career, people love working with you. They think that you keep things organized, that you know how to allow other people to shine. Like you're not always wanting to be in the spotlight. You're really like concentrating on the ultimate goal. And it's not about like, I'm the best or I'm the most important, and you allow people to share their insights freely. So if someone has particular expertise where you maybe only have like minimal experience, you let them step up and take the lead. It's not like you're constantly wanting to be in competition with people. And that doesn't just apply to your career. Like people feel like you're a team player in all areas of your life. You likely have either a lot of friends and acquaintances, or you have a tight group of strong, the sense that I get is girlfriends is what regardless of what your gender is, like women like you. They like being around you. If you think of yourself as feminine, you would be a girl's girl. Like you go to bat for your friends too, and they really value that. But like you know how to make it work, and like you know how to like have consensus or collaborate or just like find a middle ground. So if you're going on a girls' trip, you know, like you make sure that there's something for everyone. There's just this real sense of like community, and the word compassion is coming forward. People see you as a compassionate, loving person, that you don't want somebody to feel excluded. Like you feel like a person who would befriend someone right away. Like if someone was introducing their partner, it doesn't mean that you're not like sort of like looking over red flags, but you're going to make them feel welcome immediately. You're not going to like hold them at arm's length so they feel like they have to prove themselves. You know, like you know how to be generous. You know how to show hospitality. And then if there's a red flag, you know, then you don't allow them to have extra access to your life, or you keep note of that and you're watching, but like they would never suspect that. There's, that's so funny. The channeled message that I just got is they can be shady sometimes. There's this sense of like, you know, you might like gossiping, and it's all in good fun. Like you like to get together and like chat with your friends, and you might like throw a little bit of shade, but it's all in good fun. star mother. How can you mother yourself? This is that energy I was picking up on. Like, you know how to nurture yourself. You might have had some rough times in the past. Some of you might have the moon in Capricorn. That's strongly coming forward, which is a hard placement. But you've gone through some hardships in the past where you might have been neglected. You might have had, okay, there's two messages coming forward, two different energies. Some of you have had a hard relationship with your mom and you or your mother-in-law, and you have had to sort of like nurture and comfort yourself through that. And potentially you've forged relationships with other female role models that play that role in your life, or you have like an excellent relationship with your mom or your aunts or your grandmother, like female elders, people that like you look up to, and you've taken on some of those qualities. Like, you know how to nurture people, and there's just like this strong mothering energy. Like, you help people to cultivate who they want to be in the future. You help them to have faith in their dreams. Like, you are the type of person that are going to ask your nieces and nephews or your little cousins or your friends' children or family members' children, like, how's school? What are you excited about? Like, what are your hobbies? Like, what's going on in your life? Like, you're genuinely interested, and you would get down on the floor and you would play with those kids. Like, there's a sense of like knowing how, like, what's important, knowing how to build community, and people really feel that. Armadillo spirit, set healthy boundaries. Number 3 again, right? Like, community, working with people, collaborating is very important, but you have learned how to protect yourself, how to have healthy boundaries, which is what I was describing before. Being able to be hospitable to someone without giving them full access to your life. You know, like, you can be kind and still have, you know, some boundaries there where someone has to like earn access to that inner world. You know how to protect yourself, and you inspire other people. Some people might feel like it's a little off-putting, but honestly, the sense that I get is that is in itself a compliment to you, because the people that feel like it's off-putting, they feel that way because they want to take advantage of you. And so the fact that they don't have that extra access to you and they find that difficult, you should be very proud of, because these are not people that really have your best interests at heart. Koala spirit. Spirit has a plan. Card number 35. So again, the 3 coming forward. 5 can be about competition. It can be about conflict to a certain degree. It's also the energy of man, or like humans. You, I think, are a person who knows how to plan things. People get that from you. Like, if you are put in a position where someone needs to take the lead on something, you're more than happy to do that. There's this sense, again, with the koala, because they're able to eat eucalyptus, which is a poisonous plant to anyone else that's trying to eat it. Like, they eat eucalyptus because it's in abundance, because there's no competition for that particular plant. There's this sense that you are able to sort of transform things that might have been difficult for you into something that's nourishing. So it's like learning from your lessons, like being able to find the silver lining. You might have been like really harmed and you went through a grieving process, but you're looking for meaning in that. And I think that many of you are spiritual people. You've likely used tarot card readings or other forms of, you know, spiritual connection to make sense of some of the things in the past and look for a deeper meaning. You might be someone who's looking for signs and synchronicities around you at all times. You have faith that things are happening for your highest and best good, and that inspires people as well. Some people think it's a little weird, but honestly, like that doesn't matter. Really, of course they think it's weird because they're probably not at that stage of their lives. I can understand why someone who hasn't experienced it would think it is strange, but I don't think you let it bother you at all. Addict. And the card says light attribute helps you recognize and confront addictive behavior. Now the shadow says compromises integrity and honesty, allows an addictive pattern to have authority over your inner spirit. Some of you might have overcome addictions. You might have overcome relationships with people that were struggling with addictions. You might have grown up in homes where there were addictive patterns, whether that was like a traditional addiction like drug or alcohol, or whether it was like an addiction to anger or resentment, or like any of the other sort of lower vibrational frequencies that we all come into contact or we embody at times, right? There's this sense of like you being able to like hold back that tidal wave. Some of you have really worked on your emotion regulation. Like at times in the past, you might have just been overcome by emotion, whether that was anger or grief, just feeling totally lost or totally overwhelmed by the responsibility in your life. And you found a way to hold strong. And going back to those mantras and meditations and the just that repetition that I was picking up on in the very beginning of the reading, I think that you found ways of coping. Some of you might have had neurodivergence that you were trying to navigate the waters of, like your ADHD, and you're trying to get organized because you know that you have a tendency to lose track of time, and you know that you have to be at work at a certain time. So how do you trick yourself into making sure that you're ready and you're at your desk when you're meant to be? Or, like tricking yourself into doing household chores and things like that. Like you found patterns and ways around the things that were holding you back. And I think that for some of you, it wasn't things that were holding you back. It was things that were holding back other people that had hurt you. And you have been able to either bring some solutions to those people. Maybe you were able to like intervene in some way. It feels like a healthy intervention though. Like, so for some of you, you might have, had no contact with some of these people, right? And that was a catalyst for their change. There's just this strong sense of like, if you cannot show up for me in my life in a healthy way, and you cannot help me to foster this soothing, calm, nurtured energy that I've worked so hard to create in my life, then I have to hold a boundary firm and not allow you to have access to all of me, because there's too much to lose. And that in itself was such a loving act, right? Because I talk about this a lot in my channel, but I don't believe that the negative things that happen in our lives are for nothing. I think that they're painful. Pain is inevitable, but suffering is something that we do ultimately have a choice around, because suffering is the action of hanging on to only one truth, right? Because there's many different ways to look at a particular situation. And the more you zoom out and the more you look at all the possibilities, the one truth of you being a victim to this situation and being in pain is true. But there are other ways of looking at the situation that can help gain perspective and that can ultimately free you from that kind of pain, because you can start to hang on to making meaning of it, right? And I feel like you've done that. And when people go through painful situations, sometimes it brings them to a place of complete devastation, that rock bottom. And they only have one way to go but up. So, if they want to have a relationship with you, they have to start building a new relationship with self so that they can show up healthier in people's lives. And there's a sense that, like, you've done that for people. Maybe that doesn't relate to all of you, but some of you have definitely done that. You've cut people out of your life and they turned things around. Or you gave them a wake-up call in some way. Like, you told them what they needed to hear. And it was hard, but it freed them in some way. And, like, there's this sense of, like, people having admiration for you as a result. Desire, and we've got Cancer on this card, as well as the number 3 again. That is wild. 3. You should be looking out for 3s. That's a major synchronicity for you. That is absolutely, completely wild. Okay, you also have the earth symbol and the planchette and the moon. The planchette is from a Ouija board, so you might be strongly intuitive and able to sort of use your intuition and your connection with spirit to navigate through these hardships. There is this strong sense that people desire you. They desire your friendship. They desire your wisdom. They desire your perspective. They might physically desire you. You might have found that you've attracted some people that, like, could only see you physically, and they couldn't like really embrace who you are beyond what's skin deep. And that might have been part of the struggle as well. People always wanting you because of your physical beauty, or, your resources, but never wanting to know what was in your heart. And now you keep that protected. Like, if you don't want to get deeper with me, that's fine. We don't have to take this relationship to a deeper level then either. And you are not sweating that at all. Courage. Beautiful. People see you as someone who's very courageous. You've taken big leaps. You started fresh. Like, you walked away. Like, I'm talking to all of you, right? So some of these might not relate to you specifically, but some of you have walked away from marriages that were destructive, cut off parents that were harming you. You've walked away from jobs that were completely depleting you. You walked away from addictions. You, like, cut things out of your life that were only dragging you down, and you are only about nourishment at this point. And those strong boundaries, again, with this knight with the armor on, like armadillos have armor. There's a sense of, like, you are protected and people feel it. And there's this strong sense of, like, you are not afraid. And I don't think that people want to mess with you either. There's a strong sense that, like, you're going to be so kind, compassionate, loving, the first person to, like, extend your hand to someone. But if they go and, like, low, you're going to meet them at that energy. You will not pull any punches. You will definitely make sure that they think twice about messing with you and your peace in the future. And they're like, no, it's just not worth it. You're smart. You're very articulate too. There's a strong sense of, like, you knowing exactly what to say. Some of you might be very funny about it, but you make a joke at someone's expense that is just sort of a little bit of a warning, like, we can all laugh at this now, but I'm warning you, I can get meaner. I really like that, actually. Okay, so 0220, act on your idea, realistic and practical approach, goals, divine timing, ambition, cooperation, discipline. You have the benefit of good fortune, and if you use your wise judgment, you can do anything. In this place, you can reach new heights. You should act on your potential when you see this pattern, since what you plant will grow. You're about to experience a spectacular ascent. People have noticed the change in you. I think that you're on the road towards major success. There is a strong sense that people think that you're going to make it. you're going to make it in your field, you're going to be famous, you're going to be wealthy, you're going to meet the right person, you're going to have a happy family. There's like, some of you are going to like be breaking curses within your family. Like if your family never had any money, you are going to be the first person to be able to retire at 55. You're going to be the first person to like own your own home. You're going to be the first person to be able to have a second home. You're going to have a vacation home. There's like, you're going to have a marriage that lasts 40 years. There's a sense of like, you are going to do it. And you're really focused. Like many of you are really good at manifesting. Like you will set your sights on something and you know that you have to maintain that energy of joy, what it's going to feel like when everything is working out in your favor. You're not like thrown off at all by the obstacles or the things that don't go your way. You know that's inevitable. And you can laugh about it. There's a strong sense of like, you might have a dark sense of humor. Anyone who has gone through a lot knows how to laugh at some of the suffering, right? You have to. You just have to bring that levity to things. Otherwise, it can be this anchor. You do not sweat the small stuff. You know how to work within teams. You know how to build good partnerships. You have great ideas and you're building something towards your success. Some of you have like big ideas for a business and you're working at it and people are really believing in you. Some of you are quite secretive, and I think for good reason. Don't tell everyone exactly what you want to be doing in the future or what your big ingenious idea is. Like, you don't need to give them any ideas so that they can like beat you to the punch. Like, there's some Scorpio energy in here for sure. I feel it. Yeah, but you feel like the pile that everyone will look at and be like, oh my God, they had overnight success. Meanwhile, you've actually been working at this for the last 10 years, right? Like you weren't open about it. You weren't telling everyone everything you were doing. You were doing it silently because you're also aware of the evil eye. Don't tell people things that they can be envious of because that kind of energy is just going to create more obstacles for you, which is genius. You've done the work. Too passive. Take initiative to meet someone and keep the passion ignited. So you are someone, when you're in, and you're going to put all of your energy into it. You're not going to be sitting back and just waiting for those miracles to unfold in your life. This is strong, like Aries energy, Capricorn energy. You're going to go for it. But you also know when to let something slide. You pick your battles. It's genius. Sometimes people don't know if they can take you seriously. I mean, they take you seriously as in they know that you are being like direct. It's not a joke. You're not just like wasting time, but they are wary of whether you're being sincere. And I think that that's more a reflection of them. I think that you have duality. So now it's Gemini energy coming forward. There's a sense of like you can be charismatic and then you can also be very direct about what you want. And some of these people feel like they can only hold one energy at a time. So like they're always nice, which leads them to being too passive and people sort of stepping over them. Or they're too assertive and they come across as sort of like combative and mean and people want to like pull them down. You're able to hold both energies and you apply them at the right time. So it benefits you. This is not something that you were born with. This is something you cultivated. You had to learn that. Gaia, trust the universe has a bigger plan for you than you can imagine. Protecting the planet using herbs or working with nature in some way. Spend time in nature to heal, soothe your mind, and regroup. So this is exactly what I've been talking about. You definitely are grounded. You trust in the universe having a plan for you. You likely are working towards some big idea that maybe you've heard myself or other readers talk about as your purpose. you're on track. You're doing the right thing. You're going to be creating something in the physical world that is going to be abundant. It's going to be prosperous for you. It's going to, in the long run, help other people as well. You've put in the work to heal yourself. You know, many of you have been going to therapy for a long time, or you're reading self-help books, you're meditating, you're doing the things, maybe also healing your body, not just your mind. Working with natural medicines, maybe you go to a naturopath. There's a sense of like there being a turnaround here, like, so you've had some sort of glow up. And that doesn't mean that it's all like beauty and glamour, although for many of you there might be some elements of that as well. Natural beauty is what's strongly coming forward, and that can look a lot of different ways. But there's this sense of like you've come into your own, I think is the best way of describing it. It's not just like what I mean by like natural beauty, not just like clean beauty, but like authenticity. And that is absolutely gorgeous. You just have this like soothing energy, like you know who you are, and you're not trying to like impress anyone. Like you don't do things just to impress people. You do impress people all the time, but you're not trying too hard. Adventure. Seek adventure together. It adds excitement to your journey. So people are saying that, again, like you're very courageous, you're very adventurous. They might have been talking about you going on a trip. They might be wanting to join you on a trip. If you're launching a business, they might want to be getting in on that. They might be wanting recommendations on like where you went on vacation. There's a sense of like you are like very secretive about things. Like you're not giving everything away until it's already happened. Like you might be going to all kinds of really amazing events and amazing places and eating incredible food, and you're just very like humble about it. You might post about it online, but you're not like trying to become an influencer. Like if you did become an influencer, it would be completely by accident. It would be because you're just sharing what you love, being authentic, and all of a sudden the universe is like, yes, this is exactly the kind of person that people need to be listening to because they're a good role model. Honeybee. Oh, that's so funny because the honeybee is so connected to social media and working together and networking and drawing people towards you. And it's a real sensual energy as well. Let compassion and forgiveness be your top priority in this situation. You definitely know how to be compassionate and forgive people, but again, it doesn't mean that they have access to you. Like I can look back at people from the past and think, yeah, I totally understand why this person was in pain, why they hurt me. I totally get it, and I don't hold it against them at all. But I don't think that we need to like revisit that. I don't think we need to like get back together. Like I'm not going to hold anger in my heart towards this person, but I think going in separate directions is probably the best idea long term. And I think that you would relate to that. Like people feel like that. You also are someone who gets people excited. Like you are potentially a connector, like you are bringing people together, pollinating ideas. You're probably a really interesting conversationalist as well. And like you just you're sweet as well. There's this sexy, authentic, natural energy that comes from you. There's no pretense. You're totally at ease with who you are. You've seen bad things. You don't hide that, but that's not your whole identity either. And you're just going to continue to go towards your goals, trying to achieve everything that you can without asking people to, give you praise all the time or even support you. Like you're willing to work collaboratively with others, but you're not like in need in a codependent way for them to like accompany you, support you, or give you praise. You don't need that. You're if they don't get it, they don't get it. It's totally fine. Okay, let's get some cards now that give you some indication on how you can sort of start to hear some of these compliments in your like waking life. How can you get people to be more open with you about what they're thinking, or what are some signs that these are the things that people are thinking about you or saying? Okay, the festival. Create an energetic blueprint for a fantastic party or event. Okay, the more you collaborate with people, the more you're around them in a social way, the more you are helping others to connect, getting into this honeybee energy, the more you're going to hear this stuff. And I think that it's as you age as well, there's this sense of like people toasting you, people saying, thank you so much for organizing this event, like you being celebrated in that way. I also think that you're likely to overhear people say things about you, or you're around people and you're being introduced to people that maybe came to the event or the party with a friend of yours, and they're saying, oh, this is my best friend. You didn't even know that they saw you that way. You know what I mean? Like things like that. You just really need to like continue to build your social network and be around people. And there's a sense of like, have fun with it. There, you seem to be like a person who intuitively knows how to like put your finger on the pulse of what's cool or different or interesting or exciting. And that doesn't mean it's mainstream. Like it doesn't mean that it's trending in any way. It could be something totally out there, but it's fun. So like, you know, have a Muppet themed, you know, dinner party where everyone has to like, you know, come as their favorite Jim Henson character, or they have to come as their favorite childhood cartoon. And it doesn't have to necessarily be a costume party. It could be the dish that they bring, and the dish has to represent their favorite childhood cartoon. I don't know. There's just this sense of like you being very creative, spontaneous, silly, funny, unexpected, going out on a limb, doing things that people are maybe too afraid of, and that you encourage them and you draw that out of them as well. Okay, what else can you do to start hearing more of these kinds of, yeah, look at this. So the 6 of Cups, it's really about like offer a cup to other people, have more parties, invite people over, do it now. The more you create that kind of community around you, the more you're going to hear these compliments and listen to your intuition. This is like part of your purpose. Like it's all happening is what I want to say, which is beautiful. I love that. That is a Penny Lane quote from Almost Famous, that movie from the aughts. If you haven't seen it, I love it. You got to watch it. Kate Hudson, amazing. You have Penny Lane energy. You have Penny Lane energy. And if you don't know who that is, I highly recommend you go and watch that movie, because she's amazing. She's amazing. All right. Well, that concludes your reading, my friend. I hope you enjoyed it. I would love to know your thoughts. Let me know whether this connected with you, how you relate to this. Let me know if you've seen Almost Famous. It's one of my favorite movies. It's so, so great. And if any of you are interested in having a one-on-one reading with me, you can book that through my website, odessamall.com. And I am sending you so much love. I hope I see you in the next reading. Take care. Hi, pile number 2. Welcome to your reading, and welcome to all of the new viewers. My name is Odessa, and today I'm revealing to you powerful compliments that people are saying behind your back. And as I mentioned in the intro, some of these things you might rarely hear, or they're things that you have never heard before at all. And if it doesn't relate to you, that doesn't mean the message isn't for you. So give it a little bit of time. And as I'm channeling, I'm looking at general compliments that are coming from a variety of different people in your life. And I'm not focusing on just one energy. But if you would like to know what one particular person in your life is thinking of you, you can book a reading with me, and I would be happy to look into that. You can do that through my website, odessamall.com. Okay, so you have selected the amethyst chips in the jar, as well as the purple candle that has the twine bow on it. And these are the starting messages for you. So the color purple can be connected to royalty. It's also connected to luxury. It used to be very, very expensive to create the purple dye. You had to use a particular mollusk, or like a particular clam, I believe, that or an oyster. And it was very, very, very expensive for our ancient ancestors to create purple dyes. And the amethyst crystal is connected to the third eye, so strong intuition. The bow makes me think of tying something up, making something complete, pretty, finished. So I think that people find you to be someone who is well put together. They think that you have crafted your persona. It feels to me like you really think about what you look like before you leave the house. You want to look professional. You want to look put together. You are also someone who is extremely intuitive. You might be able to sort of like read what someone is thinking or what they're feeling. I think that you might be an early adopter as well when it comes to like trends and fashion. You might just intuitively kind of know what's going to be popular. And so you're able to pick things up at a low price because they haven't popped off yet. You might also just be able to like figure out what to invest in as well. It really helps you in terms of your finances and business. Or, I just heard a bad egg. So when you're like choosing friends or like love partners, you kind of have a sixth sense of like whether they are going to be healthy in your life or negative in your life. Okay, so that's what people are perceiving of you to begin with. Let's see what else. The Hierophant. So you are definitely someone who's comfortable being in a leadership position. They put you on a pedestal. People definitely think that you know how to command the room. You have this big presence. Even if you don't know a lot about a particular subject, there's a sense of you coming across like you do. Like you might have watched one documentary, but you retained so much information that people think that you're an expert on that particular subject. You might be seen as a leader as well. Like even if you're not the boss of your team at work, you come across like you're actually the de facto boss, like you know more, or people come to you for things, or they want to come to you instead of the actual boss. Or you're an older sibling and like you just like you command respect. And there is this strong sense of like knowing what the order is, knowing how things should be done, and possibly upholding that. Like there's certain traditions that I think that you might really like, or you use that to your advantage. Pleiades energy, for those of you who are interested in starseed mythology, the Pleiades might resonate for you. Being a Pleiadian might resonate for you. But double mission, channeling, and uplifting humanity. Yeah, there's that spiritual energy, that channeling ability coming forward again. Like you're tapped into your third eye. You don't second guess it. There's a sense of like really being grounded, knowing exactly what you need to do, like physically, to accomplish your goal. but also trusting your gut on things. Like if you were at the racetrack, you would have to just like, you would look at the stats for all the horses, and then the final decision is based on your gut, and you get it, you win. There's a strong sense of that. Like, this is knowing who to be around, what rooms you need to get into to really like get to your goal. People also think that you really know how to say the right things to the right people. You know how to play the game. You know how to network. And you know that to a certain degree, you have to make people feel good about everything that they're doing for them to want to work with you. And, you know, some of this might be bending the truth to a certain degree. You know, you might compliment someone on something, and sure, it's good, but you are like very generous with your compliments, and you're doing that so that you can build strong rapport with them, so that you can make sure that you climb up the ladder. There's this strong sense of you understanding the power game and what you need to do to slowly move your position upwards. Wombat spirit, be at home. Okay, so many people think of you as a very cute person. You might have heard that you look younger than you actually are, but there's like this sort of youthful cuteness about you. You might have like big round eyes, or you have very rosy cheeks. There's just like this youthful, like childlike energy about you, but physically there's some element of that. And people just feel very at home around you. And people might want to open their home up to you. Some of you might be in real estate. There's just this sense of like, you just like, or you know how to make yourself at home. Like, you might be a person who, when you get into your hotel room, you're traveling, you customize it. You will like move furniture around. You will move furniture around. You will potentially, you know, do certain little things to sort of like make yourself at home. Like, your home is a spiritual retreat is what's coming forward. You likely are someone who has routines. So you might have your like end of day routine where you do your skincare and you have your chamomile tea, and like there are certain things that you do where you like, you always call your sister or your best friend and you like catch up on the day, or like you go for a run. Like, there's certain things that you're like, you do to like ground yourself and get yourself like feeling rested and like back into that energy of home and safety. 6-8. So you know how to be reciprocal with people, and you know that it's a continuous flow of energy. Like, there, it's not like, oh, well, I just have to be nice to this person until I get what I want, and then I can just, you know, be a different way. No, it's like you have an endless amount of supply to participate in this. And not everyone does, right? Like, not everyone is able to do this. This is actually really impressive. Because like it requires a lot of dedication and focus to be able to be present and consistent and complimentary and, you know, giving to like saying the right things to the right people at the right time consistently. You know, like, you're trustworthy. People really trust you. Wisdom, bay leaves. We've got the fire symbol here. Leo, yes, yes. You've got pride and confidence and charisma, and you light up a room and people notice you. You have star power. You know how to, you know, make a sale. You know how to impress people in an interview. You are someone who could easily step into that celebrity spotlight, become famous in some way. 22, you know how to work with people, you know how to get people to want to give back to you, right? You perform for them, they perform for you. You might be literally a performer and they're going to pay you, right? There's that real sense of like, and the fire, endless energy, endless drive, but it doesn't feel like you seem very relaxed about this, right? Like you are eye on the prize, just going after what you want. And it's not this like high energy where it can feel sort of like too exuberant, or where you risk sort of burning out. Like, no, it's consistent. And that is just so freaking impressive. You just have a lot of wisdom. You have a lot of knowledge to share, like I was saying before. Like, people seem to think that you have all of the answers, even though maybe you've never done something before. You feel like the type of person who, if someone calls you up and asks you, hey, could you, play this role or do this job, or, fix this problem for me, you would say, yes, absolutely. I've been doing it my entire life. And you've never done it. You're like, they're like, oh, like, do you want to go on this horseback riding weekend trip? You're like, yes, absolutely. I love horses. I've been riding since I was 3. And you've never been on a horse before, ever. But you said that you had, because you wanted to be on that trip around those right people. And you're gonna go to a stable, and you're gonna like take a lesson before the weekend, get your bearings, and you're just gonna make it work. Like, maybe you're not directly lying to these people, but you're like twisting the truth, right? Twisting the truth. Okay, Tortoise. You're too fragmented, so do whatever it takes to get grounded. You've definitely done the work to get grounded. You are slow and steady, wins the race, constantly eye on the prize. In indigenous traditions, there is mythology around the world being on the back of a tortoise. So there's a sense of like, that everything is sort of like riding on your back and on your shoulders. Like, you have to make these things happen for yourself. And it can be sort of precarious, is the sense I get. Like, you are aware of the sensitivity of some of these relationships. Nurture. Yes, you nurture these relationships. Nurture your relationships like blooming flowers. They'll flourish. You get that. And you are there for people. That's the sense I get. Like, if you had a friend that was sick, even if they weren't a close friend, you would be showing up at their door, and you would make sure that they were taken care of, they were getting to their appointments, they had food, right? Like, there's this sense of like, you're going to show up for people in ways that they might not have expected it. Like, some people might not realize how genuine you actually are. Like, there's this sense that they feel like you might be always sort of bending the truth a little bit. Maybe you're manipulating the situation to a certain degree to sort of get what you want, or make the sale, or get the job, or whatever. But it's like, you play with those energies a little bit, but you're still genuine. And when you care about people, you're authentic, and you will show up. And you might get kind of overwhelmed by like what you're trying to pursue or grow in terms of like your legacy. And that might mean that you don't actually show up to every party or dinner or birthday or all those things, right? Sometimes you're not available, you have to work late or things like that. But when it really matters, you're there. You really get that. Perfection, wisdom. Give up your perfectionism. It's causing delays in your finances. You won't move forward if you don't conquer the fear of failure. You have what it takes to improve your finances. You are enough. Finances, money, growth, stability, getting, the C-suite, being the VP, those are important things for you. Whatever the equivalent in your field of what I just said is, you want to get to the top. You want to be the best. And I think that some people think that you might be, like, you're definitely really smart, right? No question. You've got wisdom here twice. People definitely think that you have the goods. But sometimes they might think that you have a bit of perfectionism that sort of slows things down, or you slow them down. Now, some of these people might want to just be not as organized with their pursuit of their goals. They're like a little more scattered, and they like the raw expression, or they like the unknown. Like, let's just try this and see whether it works out. I think you're more calculated than that. You're not as you're not a person that's just going to like spin the wheel and see what happens. You're like slowly analyzing all relationships, all moving pieces, and then deciding. You're playing chess and they're playing checkers, is the sense that I get. And I don't think that, even though they might be seeing you as a perfectionist, and we all sort of have to like look at ourselves and be aware, like, are we just wanting to deliver the very best product or the best experience? Or are we punishing ourselves because at some point in our lives, people made us feel like we weren't enough, and we're constantly trying to prove to them unknowingly that we are enough? Only you can answer that. But there's this sense of you being aware of that to a certain degree. For those of you who this resonates with, you're aware of it to a certain degree, right? Perfectionism is crossed out. You've been working at that. So you might sort of slip back into those old ways. You might be a Virgo. I'm a Virgo sun. I know what that's like. But, like, you're working on it and you're wiser as a result. Sex only. Either you or your partners only want sex, accept that it's okay, or reach for more. People find you really sexy. They think you are luxurious, you look expensive, you work on yourself in some way, like doing nice things for yourself, having beautiful hair, clothing, or whatever it is. Like, it doesn't have to be expensive or over the top, but whatever it is, you're doing it to make yourself physically feel incredible. You might be Taurus. People see that and they acknowledge it. You're a baddie. Many of you've got baddie energy. And there's this real like a Samantha Sex and the City energy that's coming out too. Like you are working towards your goals. You have romances, but some of you only want it to be physical, or you want it to just be fun. Like, you're not expecting anyone to be your knight in shining armor or your true love. Like, you're not, like, you don't need any of that. If the right person came along, absolutely, you would dive in, you would do it. But you're not going to like sabotage yourself and your success or slow down the pursuit of your goals for that. So you're totally happy with like the physical expression of connection. Like, you might just be interested in like experimenting. What just came forward is role play. So there might be some kinks that you want to just explore, and it has nothing to do with looking for long-term stability or a long-term partner. Like, you might not be wanting to get married, or you are married and you guys have just like this super sexy energy between the two of you, or all of your friends like think that you're their hottest friend. There's just like charisma, sex appeal, and like being eye candy is just like strongly coming forward, and people talk about it. People definitely talk about it. You might have exes that are talking about how sexy you are. or are. There's a sense too that some of you, again, might have been, this came out in pile 1, but this glow up energy that like you've really matured. I feel like you're going to get hotter as you get older. And like some of you, that's already been your experience. Like you've never been hotter than you are right now. And people are talking about it. I love that. 101, starting over, intelligence, dynamics, making a difference, failures, personal or spiritual development. Happiness is linked to self-expression, growth, and experience. Learn from failure is key. Happiness is real, possible, and around. Understand its process and the pursuit of it. Joy is fluid. It's in the little things and the big one. Fails are fun, start fresh. You are not afraid of failure. That's totally fine. Things are not always going to work out. You are a person, I think, that would potentially, if you were an entrepreneur, if you are an entrepreneur, you build a business up to like a profitability and then you sell it. And you want to start a new business and you build it up to profitability and you sell that. Like you truly have a dynamic mindset. You are not going to stick in a bad relationship that isn't working out for you. You are going to move on from that. It's about the knowledge that you gain from that about yourself. You're totally okay with pursuing what makes you happy above and beyond everything else. You really believe in yourself as well, and people really notice that. Engineer. Yeah, strong mind for like business, problem solving, like you might be involved in AI, like there's a lot of energy of like robotics coming forward that might be relevant for someone, but there's a sense of like just the newness, that Aquarian energy. The newness, really like tapping into what is fresh and different and cutting edge and where is industry going? How are we going to be making money in the future? Like, how can we better solve these problems? How can we better utilize our time and resources? Just like constantly coming up with solutions. And the card says, the ability to give creative energy, a practical expression, talent for designing resolutions to common dilemmas. And then the shadow attribute says, reliance on mechanistic solutions without regard for emotional consequences. So some people might have found you cold at times. You were not empathetic to their situation, or you could cut ties. This strongly feels like exes are thinking this, or people from your past, where it's like, no, I'm not going to slow down. I'm not going to risk jeopardizing what I have built for something that is not stable, and I'm going to walk away from this. You don't fall for that, like, the sunken cost fallacy where, oh, well, I've invested all of this time, so I can't walk away now. So many people fall for that. I've done that. I have fallen for that. Like, oh, I couldn't possibly walk away from this. We've been together for 5 years. I know it's been terrible for 4, but maybe this 6th year it's going to be better. You're like, no time like the present. Like, you are really like honest with yourself. Not to say that you don't give things time. That's what's so great about you. Like, you invest the time, and when it's done and it's broken, you have no regrets. You walk away. There's no question in your mind because you're all in. And if it's like abundantly clear to you that it's not working, you're not going to waste any time and hope and dream that it will like turn around. Deserving. People think that you deserve the success that you either have already accomplished or what you will accomplish. There's no denying that you're charismatic, you're well connected, you are smart, you are willing to put in the hard, long hours to do the things that you need to do to get the success. You understand that you have to present yourself in a certain way, like you have to like physically, like their studies show, which is so crazy. I learned about this today, that for women specifically, if you wear makeup, you are likely to make 20% more in your salary. And if you dress well and you are looking polished and professional, you're likely to make up to 50% more in your salary, which blew my mind. You totally get that. You understand that you're being judged on all fronts, so you're going to put your very best foot forward. Not that you want to have to do that every day, that you're willing to do that sacrifice. You will do the hard things to get what you want because you know that the payoff is really great. And you put energy into newness. So you might be someone who will try new technologies in beauty as well. Like, you might have been trying the red light therapy before anyone was. Like, it's just the sense of like, I'm going to try it all. You're not reckless at all. You're very practical and you do your research. But you spend your money on things that are going to give you the very best payoff, and you want things that are, that they are worth the money. They're worth the investment. Okay, beautiful. I love this. So let me pull a couple of cards that are going to give you some insight into how you can start to hear some of these compliments from people, or how you can sort of draw more of this energy towards you in your lived experience. So how can pile number 2? Okay, let's see. Trinket 5, manifesting money and income. Okay, so my friend, you're on track. Like, you are doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing. Keep, stacking your coins. Just keep working on your career, your finances, making as much money as you possibly can. Like, honestly, I don't say stuff like this very often. Like, whatever you're doing, it's leading you in the right direction. You're going to have a major, major breakthrough when it comes that you're going to have to fight for. And this is going to be your last man standing, is the sense that I get. You're going to have to fight off the competition, and you're going to have some sort of major breakout success. And when that happens, everyone is going to be telling you how great you are. All this praise. So you might have like this major breakthrough when it comes to a new technology, or you are like building a business that really is like changing the game in some way. And like everyone wants to interview you or your staff. Like, people are talking about what you have done. In this case, some of you are literally going to be like the face of whatever this is. And then all the praise is going to come to you. Others of you, it's not as directly you. It's whatever you're creating. But, you created it, so you can, it's your baby. You still are like, whoever praises what you've created is inadvertently also praising you. Okay, let's get more. What can you do to start getting more of this praise or experiencing this praise in your life? Okay, cool. Oh, my friend. Wild, wild, wild. Okay, so first you got the 10 of Swords in reverse, followed by the King of Swords, the Hanged Man, the Tower, and the 4 of Wands. So again, this is going to have to do with you going through a process of building this solid foundation. There's some sort of pain that you have to let go of. So for some of you, you're still healing. You're getting over something that maybe didn't work out for you. But your success might also be related to people's pain. So you might be working in healthcare and you're working on some sort of new technology. People have experienced painful endings and they've experienced a lot of pain. You come in like the King of Swords with all of your wisdom, being able to cut through to the truth, really have a clear direction. You're helping people to look at a situation in a different way, and it literally is game changer. Like, this is like, you know, when OpenAI came on the scene, and it's like our world hasn't been the same since. Like, the tower can be a scary energy for some because it's like nothing is going to ever be the same again. But it is that foundational shift that can like literally be an opportunity to like build where there never would have been an opportunity before. Okay, I'm pausing because I'm getting a channeled message. For some of you, you are going to have the resources at exactly the right time to be able to come in and buy up either property, businesses, or other assets when the economy starts to really backslide. We're already in a really critical point, and the world economy is going to be taking a nosedive, and you might be perfectly positioned with cash to be able to take advantage of some of these opportunities. So, you know, like housing market, I'm in Canada. The housing market in Canada starts to crash, which it's like at the precipice of doing. You have cash ready to be able to buy up a whole bunch of homes so that you would be able to have that as an investment, right? Like that seems like your path, that kind of energy, building up lucrative, building up wealth and taking advantage of these lucrative opportunities. And then you get this beautiful celebration, this like solid foundation. And, you know, some of you, might be hearing this message and you're like, yuck. I don't want to be one of those people that like just takes advantage of other people's misfortune. But I never said that. I never said that you had to like go in and buy up all of these properties and not do something ethical with it, right? Like there's plenty of ways to be in charge of different resources and be responsible. You get to choose how you apply it, right? Like you could buy up a whole bunch of properties and convert it into low income housing where like you're helping people to be able to make ends meet. You know, you don't have to be a vulture about it. Like it might not have anything to do with real estate. I don't know. That's come forward a bunch of times in this particular pile though. So some of you definitely might be like in construction, real estate, maybe banking, dealing with mortgage, lending, something to that effect. And it's going to be a good period for you when other people are going to be hurting. And that's okay. We all go through those boom bust cycles. They will be able to rebuild their lives in another way as well. So that concludes your reading, pile number 2. I hope you enjoyed it. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. People are definitely very impressed by you. And if some of this stuff relates to you, you want to share something in the comments with me about that, that would be amazing. If you want to subscribe and join me as we continue to go through this exploration week by week. I do a pick a card every weekend. I would love that. And if any of you are interested in having a personal reading done, as I mentioned, you can go to my website, odessamall.com, and you can book a session with me there. So have a lovely day or night. I am sending you guys so much love, and I look forward to seeing you in the next reading. Take care. Hi, pile number 3. Welcome to your reading and welcome to all of the new viewers. I'm so thrilled to have you with me. My name is Odessa, and in today's reading, I'm revealing powerful compliments that people are giving you behind your back. So as I mentioned in the intro, the aim of this reading is to deliver messages to you that either you are hearing very rarely or you never hear at all. So some of the things that come forward, they might not feel like they relate to you, but it doesn't mean that the message isn't for you. These are messages that you are likely to not hear. And I'm going to be channeling as many messages from as many energies as I possibly can. So this is going to be from many different people in your life and not just one person in particular. But if there is a person in your life and you'd really like to know what they think of you, by all means, I would love to fill you in. You can book a reading with me through my website, odessamall.com. Okay, so let's get into your pile. You selected clear quartz, chips in the little glass jar, and this white candle with the twine bow. So these are the first messages. So first of all, you are someone who is very healing. Clear quartz is a crystal that's known as the master healer, and it is excellent at energy purification, helping us to cleanse our entire energetic field. It's also a great manifestation stone as well as an amplifying crystal. So when it's used alongside other crystals, the energy of both crystals are increased, and it's normally directly connected to the crown chakra. So there's this strong sense of spiritual connection. I would say that you're likely an old soul and someone who has a lot of wisdom, and you're able to see sort of like the multifaceted nature of life. You're able to look at a situation and see more than one truth happening simultaneously. You're able to sort of like see the good and bad of any situation. And that means that you might be someone who potentially comes across to people like you are playing devil's advocate. Like you might challenge people's perceptions of things, and that might be a little challenging for them, but also intriguing. There's a sense of like you being really intelligent, very deep. There's a sense that you are probably an intellectual. You might be very spiritual as well. You might be able to talk about spirituality or like the meaning of life in a way that like other people just either weren't able to like articulate it, or they just weren't even thinking about things that way. There's just this sense of like you bringing knowledge, wisdom, illuminating things. You might even like tie people up, like you might be really good at discerning truth, crafting an argument. Like you might be a great debater, or you're like have a career in law. You really know how to like lead someone to the solution or the answer that you want them to see. And sometimes people might have experienced shame, right? Like they thought they had you, and then you came out with this like incredible argument that they just, there's nothing they can say. Like you're absolutely 100% smoking them, and like they feel a little stupid, and they just weren't expecting it. It's this sense of like, like they underestimated you. Like they saw you next to the pool table and they thought, that person looks like they'd be easy to beat, and you completely cleared the table. Like it's just this sense of like they didn't know how powerful you were until they tried to mess with you. Oh my God. Okay, let's get into these cards. The Hanged Man. Yes. Yeah, you are definitely able to see things from a different perspective. And it's because I think that many of you have probably had some hard times in the past. You've suffered to a certain degree. You've had to sacrifice things. And like I said before, you're an old soul. So you've gained a lot of wisdom, not just in this life, but in past lives. I know not all of you believe in past lives, but it's one of my core beliefs. So it comes out in my readings quite a bit. But if you don't believe in that, that's okay. All I'm saying is that whatever has happened over the course of your life, you didn't forget those lessons. You took that information with you and you've passed that on to other people. I think that sometimes you say things that like really unexpectedly sort of like rock people's sense of stability. Like they had just, it's like you're creating these epiphanies in their lives. They just never had thought about life that way, or their role in this world, or like their relationships, or like what is healthy or what isn't healthy, what is normal even, until you had mentioned something and you just say one little simple thing and it's like their eyes are opened, like they're awakened for the first time ever. And it might be unsettling for some people. They might be sort of like rattled. Like there's a sense of sometimes like it's kind of spooky. Like you're very deep. You're very, very deep. But that doesn't mean that you're humorless. I think that you know how to like laugh and find joy in things. It's just like it was just so unexpected. Mintonkin, longing for home, belonging, the original light worker. Again, another card indicating that you are an old soul. You help them to find their place in the world. I think that you have been an outcast or vulnerable or felt like you didn't belong at times in your life, or you were isolated and no one was protecting you and you had to sort of like find your way. You have never felt like you fit in, or this was like, how did you, like, it feels like a kid saying like, is this really my family, or was I adopted and nobody told me? You know, like, or how did I end up here? Like, why is everyone so different from me? And you found your way to feel at home. And that might have been in isolation to a certain degree. Like you might have had an illness at some point, or you were homeschooled, or you lived really far away from other people and you were by yourself a lot. It's like finding a way to like go in, go deeper, go inside yourself, and maybe like lose yourself in your hobbies or in your daydreams, and it healed you to a certain degree. Some of you might have had some dissociation at some point, but you've like found a way to overcome that defense mechanism and find your way to belonging. Like you are not someone who shies away from the hard stuff in life. Like sometimes you might reveal things to people and like you're so raw and vulnerable and they're sort of like taken back by it. Like you feel like a person that's just so open and loving. But I think you help people to make sense of the hardships that they've gone through in their life, or like find their place. How do I make lemonade out of these lemons? How do I inspire other people in my life? I wouldn't be surprised at all if you had a job where you helped people, like you were a social worker, you're like in early childhood education, you are like a mentor, a teacher, a guide in some way. Koi fish spirit, there is always enough. 36, you know how to work with people, you know how to have reciprocity or balance. You might have grown up where you were poor and there just wasn't enough materially, and you learned how to stretch a dollar. Or you might have had a lot of resources, but you recognized that other people didn't, and you never took that for granted. You realize also that there is more than enough around us, and we can either learn how to more, like, to balance things in a more equitable way, or we can get creative and we can find new ways of using the resources around us. So you might be someone who is very crafty, or you know how to sort of like repurpose things. I feel like you're very deliberate with the things that you surround yourself with. Like, I don't think that you spend money recklessly, and that doesn't mean you don't spend a lot of money. You might love to collect things, but you surround yourself with these because they energize you or you find joy in them. And I think that it's the mindset that's the most important thing. Like, you've really cultivated this incredible, abundant mindset where, like, everything can be fun, everything can be enjoyable. It's not about what you're doing or where you are. It's like the energy you bring to it, and you inspire people. And I think that you really know how to laugh. People want to be around you. I think that at the end of your life, you're going to be surrounded by a lot of people that really love you. I think many people would consider you their best friend. I don't think that you know that. I think that, not to get too morbid, but at the end of your life, there are going to be hundreds of people at your funeral. Like, many, 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 many people. People that you talk to, that you touch, that you are not even aware that you had this major impact on their life. Like, people will be talking to your relatives, telling these beautiful stories about the time that you picked them up when they were down. You just said something and it just changed their entire day. Like, and it was just something so simple. Like, there's a sense of, like, you really being tapped in spiritually and not knowing that you're doing spiritual work. Like, you're not aware that someone has had such a hard morning. They, had a fight with their spouse, and they ran out of the house and they forgot their lunch. And then they realized that their wallet, was in their other purse. And, like, they're like, oh my God, I'm just going to have to, like, work through lunch. I'm not even going to be able to eat. And here you are, you come in and you've baked muffins and you give them out. And, like, you didn't even know that that person had nothing to eat for lunch that day, and they had no way of getting food, and you just solved the problem. There's just, like, this intuitive caring that comes from you, and, like, you're touching people and you just don't even know. Like, you're just there, like a guardian angel, Trust, card number 21, Scorpio. Basil as well. Basil is a highly protective plant, fire symbol. You've got a lot of energy. You know how to light a fire under other people. I get the sense that you're the type of person that will help someone if they're grieving, but you also know how to get them out of that, right? Like, okay, you're like, this horrible thing has happened to you, and I can understand why you're so sad, but I've run a bath for you, or I've turned the shower on, and you're going to help that friend get into that shower, and, like, you're going to help them get through their darkest days. You're going to really be there for them. And, like, again, the Scorpio is strong psychic energy. You, like, evil eye, like, you protect yourself. You might be very witchy, or you might be, like, interested in spirituality in terms of, like, you read cards yourself, like, you are, like, interested in the occult. And when I say occult, I think some people don't really know what that means. It means, like, the mysteries. It means the things that we don't understand necessarily. It's the magical aspects of life. You're a good friend to people. You will stand with them. You are, some people's ride or die. Like, you're like their number one. You're their number one, or you make them feel like they're important. And the basil, you really know how to make people feel protected, or to help them protect themselves as well. Purification, yes, with the air symbol, 41, we've got Gemini. There's that duality energy, right? Like you can sort of like see both sides of the coin. You can look at everything from multiple perspectives and help people to make sense of like, why did this bad thing happen to me? You can gently guide them to a truth that sometimes terrible things happen to us, but we can make something beautiful out of it. Yeah, 4 is connected to stability, and then that number 1, like being on the right path, being in alignment with your true calling, being honest and authentic. And you're doing it through the things that you're saying and the way that you're making people think. You might have really strong air placements in your astrology chart. The X, healing from past heartbreak, takes time. Be patient with yourself. Yes, you're helping people get through these breakups. Like someone that you love is going through a divorce, or their spouse is passed on or something. You're going to be there by their side, helping them to get through this. Your exes also really recognize how much you helped them and how much you helped them heal when they did not recognize it at the time. They might have even been resentful. They might have even been harmful to you. Like they were emotionally immature people, and they used tactics to control you or manipulate you. And they really regret that now, right? Like you might have learned how to cut the cord with them, right? You've done energetic work to get them out of your life, but they recall you as being so patient with them, you know, and they didn't deserve it from their perspective. I mean, you know, honestly, Spirit doesn't really feel like they deserved it either. You were more than fair, is what your guides want me to say. Helper, yeah, you're constantly helping people. People feel like you will always be there if you're needed. You're more than happy to like get your hands dirty. It says, think before you offer help and set healthy time boundaries. Look into jobs like cashier, sales, or call center roles where you can assist others. Make sure your goals align with your own desires, not others. So people sometimes feel like you give more to them than they give to you. And that might have been something that you've worked on, right? Like you might have had to learn how to set healthy boundaries. You might have gone through hard times where you were the one that went through loss and you were in isolation and depressed, and you might have had issues with sort of dissociating, or you were using ways to sort of cope, and they might have been destructive in some way. Like it could have been any kind of coping strategy that, if taken too far, can be harmful. And you pulled yourself out of that. You made yourself like wiser as a result of that. You got on the right path. And now you know how to offer help to other people, offer guidance to them. And they really appreciate this. There's this sense of like some of the older people in your life, I think, don't give you enough credit, or don't compliment you enough. There's a sense of like a grandmother or grandfather or parents telling other people how amazing you are, but never telling you. And that might be very hard for you right now. But again, it feels to me like at some point there might be a breakthrough where they do tell you, but it feels like it would be written in a letter, or it's written in their diary and they've passed on. There is this strong sense of like beginning and ending, crossover. Some of you might be mediums where you can connect with those that are on the other side. But there's a sense of like you find your mom's diary and she has all these complimentary things to say in the diary about you, but she never said any of these things to your face when she was alive. It's a sense of like some of this stuff might be a little bit bittersweet. Being a victim, you feel helpless to change your love life, but you can change whenever you want. You've definitely gone through harsh breakups in your own life, whether it was romantic or cutting off family members or leaving jobs or friend groups. You have been a victim where people have kind of forced you out of their life because they treated you so badly, and you went through a lot of heartache and you pulled yourself out, and now you help other people doing this. Like, you are someone who, if someone is hurting your friend, you're going to get in the car and you're going to go over there and you're going to help them pack up all of their stuff and get out of there immediately. You know, like, you are going to protect them no matter what. You're going to make sure that they feel like they're wanted, they're safe, they belong, they always have a home with you. But there's a sense of like, but you're not shy about giving them the honest truth as well. People really trust what you're saying to them because you don't pull any punches, but you're not cruel. 4444, blessing in disguise, obstacles, hardships, strength, building character, experience. There might be some difficulties ahead, but you'll push through. You got this. If you've been struggling or feeling lost, the winds of change will blow in your favor. Some things may fall apart, but you're building the framework for something much better. Hang in there. Yes, you know how to cultivate a strong foundation for yourself. You are a blessing in disguise. In some ways, I think you might have had like a lot of karmic energy in your life where you've been sort of playing the role of teacher in other people's lives. Like, every situation in our life happens for a reason. And karma is experiential learning. And karma sometimes involves us and we get hurt as well, but it's because we agreed to be the guide and teacher through that, right? So you've been playing that role, definitely, in other people's lives, but it hurt you. It definitely did. You got your feelings hurt. You got your heart broken. You lost resources. You lost people. You felt isolated. You felt unwanted. You felt like you weren't heard. You felt like your perspective didn't make sense. Some of you might be neurodivergent. I relate to this energy as well. And you didn't understand why would people be so mean to you when all you're trying to do is be honest and real. I don't remember who said this, but there's that famous quote about, I felt so silly when I realized that everyone had showed up to the party wearing a mask and I had showed up with my real face. Maybe someone in the comments can tell me who said that, but like, I think that you can relate to that. Like, you showed up in life being so like open and authentic and honest, and the world rejected you for that. And it took a long time for you to realize, like, oh, because they're all playing a game and they're all wearing a costume and performing. And I thought this was all real. But in a way that liberates you, because you can see that some of them are wearing masks and playing dress up because it's fun. And some of them are doing it because they're afraid. And you're playing the game because it's fun now, not because you're afraid and hiding. Great gratitude. 4 is a major number for you. With the 4 here, 4 4s here, as well as the 4 here. Look out for the number 4, because that's a synchronicity that you're definitely going to be seeing. So you have real gratitude for everything that you've accomplished in your life, the people that are in your life. You feel like the universe is always helping you. Everything always works out in my favor, is what I'm hearing. You might have said that to yourself. If you don't, I highly recommend that you start. Like, people see you as very joyful, optimistic, someone who finds the small pleasures in life that like, how to just make fun and joy, and there's sort of this childlike nature out of this energy. Like, you're in tune with your inner child, not that you are immature. So you can be very playful. I think that I've said this before, you really know how to laugh as well. Because you're consciously choosing to be happy, which is so empowering. Liberator, freeing yourself and others from outmoded beliefs, releasing negative thought patterns. Absolutely. You're like, I am going to choose joy, because there are more than one energy at play here. And of course, there's something to be sad about, but I'm going to choose joy. But your eyes are open. You're aware that there's other negative things going on. You've experienced it, but you're not going to dwell on that. And it says, imposing your own tyranny over those you claim to liberate, ignoring legitimate constraints. Some people might have felt like you were a little bit unserious, or they felt sort of resentful that you weren't struggling as much as them. Like, you might not care about working your way up the corporate ladder, or like having all of the like trending, like, I don't know, whatever's popular. You don't care about any of that stuff. Like, it doesn't matter if you are impressing other people. If you are impressing other people, wonderful, but you're hoping that it's for the right reasons, that you're having a good influence on them, and it's not about like keeping up with the Joneses and like having whatever like trending gadget is going around right now. You don't care about that. And some people like are annoyed by that. And they're annoyed by that because if you don't want to play the same game as them, then they don't have power over you. And that is infuriating for them. But again, that's a compliment to you. They're the ones that are showing up to the costume party with a mask, but behind the mask is fear. So they're just like, I don't know. I think that your light sort of irritates their demons. And I mean, just keep doing it, because that's sort of part of your role. Like, you've got this strong, like, karmic energy, but like that you shine the light on the shadows. You might be the black sheep of your family. You might have had some like hardships within your family where people just didn't like show you the compassion that you deserved. But it's because you really, like, not intentionally, but for them, it was like you had revealed all of their weaknesses. But it's really that, internally, what they haven't accepted yet is that they're like you and they're supposed to be walking through life in a similar fashion, but they're too afraid. Platypus, stop complaining and focus your attention on the blessings in your life. That's just been abundantly coming forward. You being, I think that you can walk between the worlds too, right? Like, platypus are sort of like beavers, aren't they? They're able to, live on land and in water. And they're strange animals, really strange animals that almost look like a mashup of a whole bunch of other animals. Like, you're just so unusual. You might physically look very unique or different, like maybe you moved to another country or a new region and all the people around you like are a different ethnicity, or you are like, you grew up in a culture where like the fashions or the music you listen to, it's all very unique and different and strange, but like exciting. Some people find it like they want to be in the spotlight, so it's irritating to them that like you're just so authentically unique and different. Like, you're not trying, you're just capturing people's attention because you just are exciting to be around. But you don't seem to like complain about things. You seem to be able to diffuse problems. You know how to like lighten the mood, and you can go with the flow. People say that you can go with the flow. You're very easygoing that way. Okay, so now I'm going to get a couple of cards that are going to tell you how you can start to hear some of these compliments. How can you sort of draw this energy into your like day-to-day waking experience and not just hear it secondhand through me. So how can pile number 3 start to hear some of these? Perseverance, the motivation to keep going despite the odds. So the roles that you're playing in people's lives, that is going to eventually hit a tipping point where people really see you and they start to compliment you. This might be a situation where some of you might be working on a project that's going to have like this real motivating force for people as well, right? Like you're taking your hardships and you're turning it into a book. You're turning it into an app. You're building a following online. And you're helping people to walk through the discomfort of their own lives or feeling different and you're helping them to persevere. And the eye is going to be on you. Many of you, this is going to be online. It's going to be online love pouring towards you. And a video is going to go viral and you're not expecting it at all because you don't know any of these people. And they just show up and they're like, wow, you're amazing. You were so raw and authentic. And now I feel like I have permission to do the same thing. No one in my small town is like me. And I felt like I was the only one. And here you are. And then through that, they see that in the comments, there's thousands of other people that also feel that way. Okay, what can they do to, interesting. Okay, cool. So you might be coming from pile number 2 because some of these cards came out in pile number 2. All right, so the first card that came out was the Knight of Wands in reverse. And then you got I don't really know what order these came out in. I don't think it really matters. Page of Pentacles, the Moon, the 8 of Wands, as well as the 6 of Cups. Okay, so there's this sense of like you not rushing anything. You're not going to be able to just like pour in a whole bunch of energy for a short amount of time to get a good payoff. So if you had like a social media platform you're trying to build, this is like putting in the work, building the content, posting every week, and you're following growing and growing and growing and growing. And you're going to have to be consistent about it over a long period of time before you have that breakthrough success. It's not going to just be like one of those situations where you post a couple of videos and all of a sudden you're monetized and like doors are opening and you haven't even had your channel for a year. You are going to have a breakthrough moment, right? But it's not going to be seen. You're not going to be expecting it. And it's like I said before, it's going to be a whole bunch of people finding you for something that you've done that you didn't really expect to get that kind of response. You're just being authentically you, sharing something that you have expertise on, but also something that I guess it's actually, I want to amend that. You have expertise in terms of communicating about your values, your perspectives, your technique for healing, but there is this newness, like this is a new problem, or you're trying a new technique, or you're opening the world up to a new aspect of your life. Like there's this youthful, like I'm just trying this, I'm just learning, or I'm just thinking about this for the first time. Maybe it's just new insights that you're like, I've been thinking about this. But you already have the ability to communicate. You already have the ability to know how to like create content that people are interested in. or a great product. And it's all based on those wounds. You need to look at where your moon placement is in your astrology chart. It's going to give you some clues on what you should be talking about or what kind of product you should be doing. Like what the core of it is. It has something to do with healing. It has something to do with like the unseen, the mystical, the spiritual. Look at your 12th house. Look at Chiron. Those are going to give you some clues. And you're going to stumble across something or some sort of topic is what I just told. What I was just told. And you're going to post something and it's just going to immediately draw people in. It's going to like help you to laser focus on the direction of the next phase of your life. And then it's just this beautiful reciprocal energy where finally you feel like I've found my community. These people really see me. They really hear me. They really understand me. And I get the sense that it's already happening for you in many ways. It just hasn't touched your day-to-day life to the extent that it will. But people already have this feeling about you. It's just that it might be someone you haven't talked to in 6 years. And some point very soon is the sense that I get. You're going to have this breakthrough moment where all of a sudden things really shift and change for you. I can give you an example. Nina Poole. I'm sure some of you guys already follow her. She's amazing. I love her. She's so sweet. And she talks about her journey. Like she's a beauty content creator talking about dupes for luxury products. And she just had a special interest in like the ingredients in a lot of these luxury products. And she was on a budget, and she talks about how she has ADHD and she's not able to like sort of have like a regular 9 to 5, and like there's certain things that are going on with her that made it hard for her to just like fit into like a regular work schedule, and like her anxiety battles and all of the things that are going on with her. And she was just raw and authentic, and she brought something to the table that was unique, and she wasn't expecting to have the kind of success that she has had. And now she has brand deals, you know, like her entire life has changed, and she's paying it forward. She's doing great things as well, you know, for other people and other communities. And she's been involved in a whole bunch of different events in her local community. So it's like, that's just an example, and your focus might have nothing to do with like creating content or beauty or anything that she's doing. But you're going to have that kind of payoff where the more authentic you are, the more your heart is in the right place, the closer you get to finding that niche that's going to bring you towards your community. So that concludes your reading, my friends. I hope you enjoyed it. I would love to know your thoughts. What did you think of the reading? Do any of you guys follow Nina Poole? And if any of you are interested in having a reading done, you can connect with me through my website, odessamall.com, and you can book there. And I'm sending you so much love. I hope you have a beautiful day or night, and I will hopefully see you in the next reading. Take care.